upset them because
And
it's
then,
like
you know what?
you're gonna
Dude,
be
you're
scrolling.
absolutely
so.
right. And you can like snooze people.
Yeah, like if I see something I don't like, I'm like, all right, not following this person.
Yeah.
Anymore. I'm not just gonna like, and there's no point to send them a DM or to like, because it's like you're just gonna perpetuate. You know what I mean?
That's so
it's like
smart, dude.
just close it off. Boom.
I don't do that. I
Yeah,
really
that's
just
definitely what I do. Every time I see somebody post something like hateful
Yeah.
or like
Yeah, it's like,
stupid,
all right.
it's like, all right, see ya.
I ignore it, but dude, you're probably right, man. I probably should snooze them.
Like, why
you can
keep it
snooze
around
'em.
though? Why?
You're right. No, you're
Because
absolutely
it's
right.
just like,
All right, then you get fired up. You're pissed off for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, well, sometimes that's
It's
a
not
rabbit hole.
worth it. It's a rabbit hole, man.
yeah.
It's
And now
poisonous.
think about it. You just spent the last 30 minutes of your life just like in your phone, just
Yeah.
pop, 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 pop,
Oh,
and you're
dude,
like,
I
I'm
tell
so
ya.
upset, and it's like, why?
That
why
I
are you
never.
upset?
Yeah, exactly. That I can at least say I've never really done. I've never jumped into the comments like that. I think people
I have a couple times, but sometimes you have to. Like, if
Yeah.
you have to teach somebody something because they're being ignorant or something, I will 100% spend my time to try and like.
I'm just so convinced they've just made up their mind and they're just gonna.
I
they're just
never
gonna
try and
fight
change
you.
their mind.
Yeah.
I never try and change their mind because you can't change people's minds over the internet.
That's a good.
All I do is offer them a view that they might not be seeing, and if they don't see that, then it's cool. I'm off. You know what I mean? But like, I'll spend the time if I think like, yo, maybe I can see them a different, show
Yeah.
them a different path. Whether they take it or not, like it's up to them. I'll spend the time and type out like a brick message and be like, yo, blah blah blah, blah. And I'll type it and be like, yo. And then if they start responding, I just be like, I don't argue.
What's
on Facebook,
what?
and then
Yeah.
dip.
So what's that usually? How does that usually go? Like, yo, fuck you, man.
I just
Or is
don't.
it
I just
like-
say I don't argue on Facebook and I
Yeah.
leave because then it's just like you. You either didn't read my message,
Yeah.
right? You just saw how big it was and was like, I'm pissed and commented.
Read the first.
Because if you read the whole message, you wouldn't be upset right now.
Yeah.
So it's just.
Yeah,
it's
that's actually a good point. Depending on how you put it too. It's aggressive times, man. I try to stay off the internet myself. I'm trying to get into the rhythm of not checking my goddamn feeds like first thing when I wake up in the morning.
Oh, dude, that's
Like,
a big
why
one.
do I do
That's
that?
a big one. The
Yeah.
worst is when you like lay in bed for like 20 to 30 minutes and you don't get up and you're just mindlessly scrolling.
Yeah. Well,
Waste
think about
of
it.
time.
Things can happen in an instant, right? So
Yeah.
you've been asleep for 8 hours. You're
Yeah.
gonna wake up and be like, "What?" Anything could happen.
Yeah.
You could wake up and like aliens could be invading, and it's gonna be like, "Well, it is August." You know what I mean? So
Dude, it is. Yeah,
yeah,
it's still
especially in this times.
2020.
Yeah, in times like this, it's like there's
that's a
always
good
new
point.
headlines.
Dude,
Always
there
new
really
headlines.
is. There really is.
Faster than before.
Oh my god. So that's so true. And it's just finding your way through it. I tell you though, I'm really looking forward to next year.
Yeah, no, me too. Me too. This year,
Like I talked to Tom about it. I was really, it's kind of a bummer that like entertainment and travel are so restricted right now.
Yep.
And
I think only like this summer,
yeah.
no one's taking Americans except for Mexico. I don't think you can go
Oh,
anywhere
yeah.
except
Oh,
Mexico.
yeah.
Yeah.
United
You can't even
States
go to
passport
Canada.
isn't accepted.
You
Like
can't
Canada's right
imagine
there,
that?
and they're like, nah.
Turn around.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike and I were talking about this, how like we don't know if like there's ever really been a time
Oh.
in U.S. history where like an average citizen isn't allowed to leave the country.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know,
We're probably living.
Like, isn't
We're like,
that
what do you
weird?
mean I can't go anywhere? The rest of the world's like, you're not used to this.
Yeah.
We can't go anywhere where we want to when we want to.
Dude, seriously. That's so crazy. That is a really wild concept.
We're spoiled.
It's a little, dude, we are. We
We're super
are.
spoiled.
I was just in here with Preston. He just left before you got here. And I think the one of the most fundamental issues that I think collectively we're having is how little our ability is to have the gratitude we should really have for what we have, because it really shows how little we know what it's like to even live in this country, because we've never lived in other countries.
Exactly. Yeah. Perspective
How would
is
you
huge.
know? What would your perspective be if you lived in the same town, in the same state, with the same people, going to the same church, and going to the same functions for 65 fucking years?
well, the problem is some people think that the reality depicted on the screens that they view every day is actually reality.
Dude.
However,
Yeah, you can trick people super easy.
I was
now.
taught-
there's tons of places in the world that don't have screens or phones or nothing like that, and it's just totally different.
I was telling Preston, dude, I don't think the media should be able to talk about politics. That should be illegal.
You can't do that though, because that's censorship, and then it's like, okay.
You know what I mean, though?
The thing is though, it's like,
Think about that.
if anyone can say, people have to stop feeding into it. That's
Yeah.
the problem. You
You're
can't,
right, too.
because
That-
it's like anyone can talk about anything they want. I can sit here and talk
And
about
we could
pickles.
blame
the rest
as
of the,
many external factors.
Yeah,
as
I
we
can talk
want.
about pickles for the rest of this interview.
Yeah.
And if people are upset, it's like, why do you just talk about pickles? It's like, well, you chose to sit here
And
and
watch
listen to
the
me
whole
talk
thing.
the rest of the
That's a
video.
good point, man.
It's just like people have to stop, like,
blaming,
Like,
casting blame.
Yeah, because it's like, yo, you chose to.
Yeah.
Depending on what it is, obviously everything has context, but it's like for silly
it's a good
things that
point.
people shouldn't put time into,
That's a really good
they're
point,
putting
man.
a lot of time into.
And just like with the media, so they're just conned into it, and then it's like you can't go blaming it, because like you said, if you're sitting there watching the news all day every day for your whole life, I mean, how much of your opinion's even yours at that point?
It's not. Everything is built for the consumer,
Yeah.
right? So you have paparazzi chase down celebrity,
Yeah.
makes their life hell so they can get a picture so you can see that picture,
Yeah.
right? The news, you want to know about coronavirus, so everyone's doing all of this research as quick as possible, and we're getting, falsities when it comes to reporting and everything,
Yep.
just so they can give you news about COVID because they know the whole world wants to know about it. But they're like, they just put it out there because they know you want to know, but just because they put it out there doesn't mean it's always
Yeah.
right 100% of the time. Most of
Exactly.
the time, it's skewed.
Well, that's
Or rushed.
that's just it. So it's really just like an artificial manipulation of your opinion based off of what they want you to know, because everybody's so split. That's the thing. It's so categorized, and you can only be in two. There's only two places you can be. They don't have room anymore for people who have opinions that are on both sides.
No.
And
At least when it comes to
sucks.
media, I feel like the everyday person, right?
Yeah.
I talked about this actually in one of my college classes. When it comes to the media, there's two sides, right? Because
Yeah.
you can't, when you print in black and white. That's
Yeah.
just how it is. You know what I mean? But when you meet someone in real life, no one's points are ever black and white. Usually someone will say something and have a little
Exactly.
more extra to say.
And
but
it
when you're
sucks.
trying to debate, when you're trying to make rules,
Right.
you can't have that little extra because
And they
it's-
convince you
Yeah.
so much that that's the case, that the people in the world are either one way or the other.
No,
But you're so right when you really talk
most
to them.
people are in the middle.
They are the middle. I
Yeah.
believe that. I believe that 100% too. It's so easy to say everybody. Everybody thinks this. I say that all the time, and I shouldn't, because that's not true. I think a lot of the times, like you said, more often than not, people have what it takes to agree with each other. The problem is when we share things, there always seem to be one-sided.
Well, I
Yeah.
think the reason for that partially is because the people in the middle, they don't get as fired up
That's
as
true
the
too.
people on the edges do.
Because they understand.
Right?
They're
And then
understanding.
the
They're like,
people
oh, I
on
know
the
he's
edges
upset.
are the
Yeah.
ones who are yelling at each
Yeah.
other, so
Yeah.
they're the ones that everybody hears, you know?
That's very true. The squeaky wheel gets the oil, man.
Yeah.